Welcome back to another episode of Can We Fix It? Yes, we can. Just call me Bob the Fixer. Take a look at the dashboard here, ladies and gentlemen, and you will notice that instead of a big red ABC warning, 1, 2, 3 warning, don't drive me warning, get to a shop immediately, SOS emergency, we have the mileage. How about that? And in case of emergency, you can always push this button like an airplane right here, right? Just push this down and push that. And I did it once and the car made lots of screaming noises, but nothing happened. So, yeah, let me show you. We'll shut this off for you guys so it's not so loud. It's sitting pretty high right now. The gaps are pretty humongous at this point in time. We still have to run it up and down several times. And you know, we got to take it on a bit of a drive, and it took me a bit of learning. I had to do a bit of learning to figure out what the hell I was doing. So this reservoir, which you can't see, but there's a reservoir down there, that is for power steering. This big reservoir is for the ABC system, and there's a little pump down here. This big shiny thing is right next to it. My finger's on it right here. I know you can't see it, but there's a tandem pump. It's a pump that controls both the ABC system and the power steering. So you have two separate reservoirs because it's actually two separate pumps built into one housing, which is why it's called a tandem pump. Well, you know, I did the usual. I pulled the dipstick out and I checked it, and it's like, okay, it may look a little low right now because it takes about 10 minutes for the fluid to level back out. Like I said, had to do a lot of research. But this one was way down below the bottom mark, and it's supposed to be way up here at the top mark. So I looked around and I found that a can of Pennington or whatever it is, the fluid you're supposed to put in this, runs about $30 a liter. I went to my local O'Reilly Auto Parts and I found this LubeGuard Complete Synthetic Power Steering Fluid Multi-Vehicle Formula for service in European vehicles. So the first thing I did is I look on the back and I'm like, this has to meet Pennington CHF requirements to work in this car, and it does. And this, my friends, was on sale for $12.99 a quart versus the $30 a liter it was going to cost me for the other stuff. So I bought 6 or 7 quarts. I bought everything they had because I said, man, I'll bet the fluid in this thing is probably nasty and in desperate need of replacement. So we're just going to do a video about sucking all that crap out and putting new stuff in. But let me show you something. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. I'm trying to find something white here. Here we go. I will give you this book as an example. We're going to sit this on top of the car here, and we are going to pull out the dipstick and just drip some of this on here. Now, yes, it is supposed to have a green tint to it, and it does. It's not black. We could probably replace it. It wouldn't hurt anything, but that fluid is actually pretty damn clean. I mean, it's not black, it's not even brown. It's just got a slight green hue to it. So I think the fluid is actually all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy new filters, and I'm going to replace the filters. There's actually a filter on this one. It's actually attached to the cap. Filter on this one, we're going to replace that, and I'll do a video showing you guys that. Trying to locate some parts, looking for this air snorkel because that really needs to be there. There's an engine cover, I believe, that's missing from right here. Looking for that. But let me tell you something, guys. That ABC issue could have been a big expensive problem. I ran the codes and the codes came out. I've actually in this video somewhere, I'm going to post all of the codes this car had so you can see for yourself, and some of you guys might be able to help me understand what some of them mean. But I was getting, for the ABC system, I had 2 fault codes, and they were both for basically low pressure. And when you get those codes, according to everything I found online about Mercedes, those codes usually mean that pump has died. And when it dies, you got to replace it. And hey, I looked online, I found some rebuilt pumps, you know, $300, $350, $250 in some cases. Looks like it's a bit of a bear to get to, but I think we could do it. So I was like, well, If it's got to be done, it's got to be done. But as it turns out, it was a quart low. Now I know, where did the quart go? It had to go somewhere. I can't tell you. I'll have to keep checking for leaks. I've already looked around the catalytic converters, which is where they're known to leak, and I don't see anything leaking anywhere, at least not right now. So for the moment, I don't want to say it's a miracle fix, but for the moment, we now have a $2,100 total all in with the battery and everything, plus the, well, call it about $2,114 for a quart of fluid. So right around 2,100 bucks. Now the ABC system functions properly up and down like it's supposed to. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm gonna reset all the codes, clear the computer, and we're gonna come back and we're just gonna keep working on it as time permits. And I think right now, the next thing I want to do is clean up this engine bay. So I want you guys to take a real good look at what this engine bay looks like right now. Don't forget all the little peanuts. All right. And here's the after shot. Now, while it was literally a split second for you, this has taken hours. We had to take off this cover. We had to take off this snorkel. We ended up getting some water in the spark plugs, and there's 12 cylinders. We were misfiring on like 8 of them. No, we did not have to remove the coils, thankfully. Misfire cleared up on its own, probably because this engine runs hot as hell and it just evaporated. But we did get this engine nice and clean. We also found a little bit of a wiring issue that I didn't do on camera because there was really nothing major to it. There's a sensor under here called an AAC sensor, and I don't think you can see it, but it's right here. That sensor has a brown wire and a black wire that some rodents had chewed through. So I went ahead and fixed that and cleared the codes. We still have several codes, nothing near as major as I had before, but we also just reset the codes on this thing, so there is definitely a possibility we're going to get some of these codes back. Man, I love this scanner. I really do. The Ansell FX4000, this thing has been a godsend when it comes to this car. So as of now, she runs again. We still have check engine light for the purge valve. Of course, I just reset all the codes, so that may not be a thing at the moment. She's running nice and quiet, runs real good. We still haven't taken it out on a drive now that we've repaired the ABC system, but we did get the engine nice and clean, and that was really one of my big goals today, is to really spray it down and get all the acorns and crap out of it. And it's looking pretty good. So we got a few other things to diagnose, but it looks like the car is really coming together. I'm excited. I'm excited that I don't have that damn ABC thing beeping and going off in my face anymore. We got to figure out where the purge valve solenoid is. I think it's right here. I think this is it, but I'm not 100% sure. This is on the driver's side. I am about 99.9% certain that that is the purge valve solenoid. But if any of you Mercedes people out there know for sure, give me a holler and let me know. That definitely looks like a purge valve solenoid. I just haven't had an opportunity to really look for it yet. So I wanted to point out, because of yesterday's video, man, that ABC system was really worrying me, because I've seen so many people say, once something goes wrong on the ABC, hang it up, because you are screwed. It's expensive, it's difficult, and I'm pretty thankful right now. The only warning light on the dash is the SRS airbag over there in the left-hand corner, and even it flashes as I move around, it seems. You see that light? It seems like well, now it's not going to do it, of course. Well, it seems like as I move around, that light kind of comes and goes. I don't know. I need to run the code for that. In fact, why don't we stop right here and I will post the most recent codes. In fact, maybe we can do it like this. Let's see if this will work. All right, so I hope you guys can bear with me, and any of your Mercedes people that want to give me a hand with all of these codes that I've got, I would appreciate it. We're starting with the engine codes, which is a P2026, or otherwise known as a P0443, which is a purge control valve. We mentioned that earlier, so we already knew about that. We'll get out of that, and we'll just continue working our way down through the fault codes. So ESP, no fault code. ABC, no fault code currently. TPC, no fault code. Airbag, we do have a fault code with the airbag. So let's have a look at that. This is B1867-04. The ignition circuit with component R12/20 left front side airbag ignition squib is faulty. Has large resistance. I don't know what that means. So I'm sure that's why the airbag light is on, because that's the only code. So if any of you know what that in particular means, help, please. Let's see what else. OCP, no issues. EIS, no issues. HRA, headlamp range adjustment, one issue. B1480, component M36, left headlamp range adjustment motor has short circuit to open, or has short circuit or open circuit. So something going on, I don't know, with the left motor, I guess, to the headlight. Moving on, UCP, no codes. SAM dash front left signal acquisition and acquisition module. I don't know what that is. It's a B1341, fault in communication with component H3/1, alarm signal siren with additional battery. You got me, man. Don't know what that is. So that's the first SAM, and I believe we got 4 of these, right? So moving on to SAM front right, B1637, the illumination for front ashtray, spectacles compartment, storage compartment, and footwell is faulty. Okay, there's a code for a bulb. Anybody, can you tell me where that bulb is so I can take care of that code? So that's the SAM front right. Now the SAM right, rear SAM, rear signal acquisition. Oh, sorry, there were no codes present on that. My bad. Okay, ICM, no codes. SCM, no codes. PTS, no codes. D2B command or audio, one code. N1141, set actual configuration of D2B ring differs. What? Okay, set actual configuration of D2B ring differs. N1141. Not a clue what that one would be either. CD changer, no fault codes. VCS, no fault codes. Sound, no fault codes. CTEL, no fault codes. Tele-Aid, eCall, no fault codes. DCM FL, no fault codes. DCM front right, no fault codes. DCM right left, no fault codes. DCM right right, no fault codes. ESA FL, no faults. ESA FR, no faults. ESA R, no faults. OSB FL, multi-contour backseat, no codes. OSB FR, no codes. AAC, automatic air conditioning. B1269, communication fault of AC bus with control unit B31/1, AAC malfunction sensor. Anybody tell me what that is? Rear AC, no codes. Okay, so that's all the codes we have. So we're gonna end the video there. We still have some quirks, man. The engine was misfiring. Now it seems to be running fine again. We're definitely gonna have to just get that water evaporated, hopefully, because I don't really want to pull 12 coils off that car, but if so, that's what I get for pressure washing the engine. I know better. All the fault codes. I don't know, man. The ABC system is working. That's what's crazy. Like, it's working. So aside from all these little fault codes, and quite honestly, I know they sound like a lot, but believe me, for a car of this caliber, those are very few fault codes. And any Mercedes person will probably jump on here and agree with me. It's a lot of fault codes, but at the same time, for this car with this many components, it's not that big of a deal, and I don't think the majority of them are serious at all. In fact, I don't think any of them are serious. I need to find out where that purge valve solenoid is, and I think it's the one I showed you earlier, that probably just needs to be replaced. Those are very common replacement items. The rest of the fault codes, I'm going to have to leave it to some of you experts. Hopefully there's a couple of you out there that can help me go through those codes and explain to me what they mean, what I need to be looking for. Next, we still don't have a power trunk release. We still don't have the headrest up and down. We still don't have the central locking system. And as I've learned, those are all related. There is a fuse back here under the passenger rear seat behind the light on the floor. And I've pulled that light and I've checked all the fuses and they are all good. So I was told the issue was probably a blown fuse down there, and it's not. So I have checked those fuses. Everything came back good. What's next? I appreciate any help you guys can give me, and thank you for sticking it through. This video, I mean, I'm sure it was difficult for you to watch. This was a very difficult video to make. It took many takes on many different parts of the video. Just having a hard time getting all of this out there for you guys. This is a difficult car, but I think we're going to get through it. I really do. I think we're gonna persevere. We're going to keep pushing, and we're going to get through it. Or I'm going to run out of money, and I'm going to sell it in a quick hurry. But ultimately, guys, people pay a whole lot more. I mean, a whole lot more than what I paid for this car for these S600s that are in nowhere near as good a condition. This thing is in awesome shape. And even though we have our quirks, I'm sure a lot of Mercedes people out there, Mercedes-Benz fans, will come on here and say, man, you stole that car at $2,100. It's a great deal. If you're interested, this Ancel code reader, this FX4000, has been a lifesaver on this car. Not all code readers are created equal, and even the one that I use all the time, my Blue Driver, it can't touch this car. The Blue Driver is just not capable of handling everything that this car has, so I had to break out this big one. It's a $249 code reader, guys, and it does like what something you'd pay $500, $600, $700 will do. And any of you people out there that have code readers, I'm sure you can tell the people on here that's no joke. This Ancel FX4000 is an amazing machine for $249. And yes, I have dropped it by now and it still works just fine. I will have a link in the description because I'm sure there's several of you out there that wouldn't mind having something capable of going so in depth on your vehicle, especially for $249. So there'll be a link in the description for that. Thank you guys for watching. Give the video a big thumbs up because I have been out here working my ass off. Seriously, it's hot and I'm trying to get this car right, man. I'm really excited about getting almost everything working. We need to leave one thing broken, from what I've been told, or something major is going to happen. So we need to leave one thing unfixed. But I really do appreciate you guys coming along on this journey with me. I guess I'm going to get out of here. I don't know what else to say. Stay safe out there, everybody, and I will catch you soon in the next one.